back. Meanwhile, the Lions will be in the limelight on Sunday. Entering this season, the Lions hadn't won their division since 1993. They had not won a playoff game since before that, back in 1991. They put an end to both of those droughts. And next on the list, a trip to the NFC Championship game. The Lions could secure that, believe it or not, with a win over the Bucs on Sunday. Dan the Man, how do you see Ben Johnson trying to attack that aggressive Todd Bowles defense?
Mina, if I asked you Tampa Bay's defense, where do they rank kind of handling teams who motion?
It's very bad.
Okay.
The worst in the NFL
Bingo.
when they pass.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So I would think that plays into a massive advantage for Detroit offensively, not only because Tampa Bay struggles with it, it's very much so a principal part of their offense. And now, the thing that I like about it is it's not necessarily just in one style of play. Sometimes they do it to get drop back quick games. Sometimes they do it to open up their perimeter game and change the leverages of a defense. And I think it's going to be really important. One of the ways that you could gather information for your offense is you motion a guy. And if a team that wants to pressure a ton doesn't react, you know that blitz is coming. And I think Ben Johnson early on in this football game will motion a ton early, try to gather some of the information of who Tampa is going to try to defend with and or pressure, and definitely try to hurt them over the top.
Yeah, you kind of throw on the Eagles tape and say, do everything different from what you saw there. Sorry, Eagles fans. You're like, really? We're still talking about this? No, the motion is one aspect of that. Of course, the Eagles don't use it. The Lions use it a lot. The other thing is having a plan against the blitz. Obviously, it's Tampa. In particular, the zone blitzes that they do, which is something that the Lions are very good at. Jared Goff, in particular this year, second highest completion percentage, third lowest sack percentage against the blitz. Some of that is Goff's quick release. Some of it is the protection plan. A lot of it is Amon-Ra St. Brown working over the middle of the field. He is so good, Dan, at finding those voids and then picking up yards after the catch. It's a big part of the reason why, in addition to their use of motion, I think Detroit has a matchup advantage on that side of the ball.
You know what, real quick, too, I also think I could see Jamison Williams over the top early on Dean. Jamel Dean's a really good corner. He's also wildly nosy. He's very physical. Yeah,
double
he'll bite.
move.
Exactly.
I love that description. Now, Dan, of course, as all of America knows, even when it wasn't fashionable, has been on the Lions bandwagon long before the rest of us until last week.
Yeah,
when literally everyone, including Dan, picked against Detroit. Dan's former
how
team.
bad it was.
We knew. Like, we knew. And I also picked Detroit the Rams by a point, Hannah. Like a point.
I mean, Mina, this is just inexcusable. Obviously, the Lions, Dan's former team, felt so. Come on, Dan Orlovsky, after they beat the Rams.
We deserve it. We deserve it. It's fine.
Dan, how could you?
I was emotionally in a bad spot. I was picked between, like, the team that drafted me and the organization that I owed so much to and love, and a dear friend of mine. And I thought the Rams were better. I thought the Rams would win. Well, the Lions won by a point.
Maybe you pick a tie next time if you're that conflicted. Okay, we are all picking the Lions. We're all on the Lions. Okay, now what if the Lions?
Detroit.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I don't know. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it. Like,
you don't feel good about this pick.
Usually, Hannah, on this show, when we all pick one team,
I know.
they lose.
That's not. Come on, Dan. You're superstitious?
Wow. I'm not
How unlike
superstitious.
you.
Only this. What's the scores like? See,